now on, every time I start a stream, I'm gonna have like this smile going on to give it a few seconds to make sure that the beginning does not cut off. So, good night, guys. How's it going? Today, I wanted to discuss a little thought when it comes to relationships because you guys know that I love relationship talks. And it is going to be tackled from the perspective of um, people often say that you should be independent, you should love yourself, you should be happy with yourself, you yourself, love yourself, enjoy yourself, etc. But they also insist that you shouldn't need to be in a relationship to be happy or fulfilled. That's the angle that I want to address this from. Well, here's my opinion. What if I genuinely do not like being single? And that is me. And let me explain why. So, let's backtrack a little bit. When I had my first relationship, I was excited because honestly, I thought that it would be a really, really, really long time before I had a boyfriend because for me, first of all, I always felt like there was such thing as an appropriate age for you to start dating. So for me, I was visualizing having my first boyfriend at 18 plus, and it's because it's something that I take seriously and I don't want to just fool around. So I always knew that I'm the type of person who, when I walk into a relationship, is because I see a lot of potential in someone to the point that I'm thinking about possibly marrying this person. So when I'm dating, I take it seriously. It's like I'm with someone as if we're never gonna break up. You're the man for me. You're the one who I'm going to grow old with, etc. So when my first relationship ended, I was like, I was kind of numb. I really don't know how to describe how I felt. It was a combination of sadness, but with relief and liberation because I felt like something that was no longer making me happy, I got rid of it. And it wasn't necessarily a toxic relationship, but my perception of some things were getting in the way, and also his perception of some things were getting in the way. So I said, you know what, maybe we should just take go our separate ways. Well, when that happened, I was single for a whole year, I want to say. If not, no, actually, I was single for a year and a half. And it wasn't hard. I missed some aspects of the relationship, like that one person who you could always call at night and stay up for endless hours talking to. I didn't have unlimited texting back then because of Verizon's reasons. I hate the fact that my mom gave them so much money. But anyway, um, and it was cool to have someone to look forward to in the weekends because I'm telling you, when I say I was alone and I didn't have any friends, I mean I was alone and I didn't have any friends. So, in a sense, this relationship was all the social activity besides from my mom that I would ever get during the summers as well. Like, the summers were the most depressive time for me because I didn't have anywhere to go, nowhere to see, no one to see. So, anyways, just to give you an idea of where I was at back then. Then my second relationship came about, and I needed that experience because if you feel like a person is not right from you or for you right off the bat, you should not try to make Russia fit inside of Japan. And let me explain what that means. What that means is we were two incredibly opposite poles, and there was just no way that our personalities could ever combine and have that harmony that relationships need to survive and be successful and all that jazz, you know? At least I can say that we gave it a try. We gave each other opportunities, but it just couldn't happen. And that convinced me even further that, okay, I may not like being single, but at the same time, being with the wrong person is either just as bad or worse because you're never at ease, you're never in peace, you're not having fun or excitement or any joy coming from this. And that's when it becomes a toxic relationship. And it's very important to stay away from that. So, with that little bit of a background set, let me dive into answering the question now. Well, why would someone tell you, insist that the way you are as an individual has to match generically for everybody in the same manner? Like, say, let's pick my mom. If my mom says she can be perfectly happy without a man, that's her. Good for her. I don't have to say the same. I don't have to feel the same way. And it's not because I don't have self worth. It's not because I don't believe in my abilities as an independent person. It's just that I genuinely do not like having that void in my life. I don't like having that emptiness. To me, it feels like an empty feeling. And I like to fill up empty feelings because empty feelings let you know that you're lacking something. So for me, because I consider myself wise when it comes to choosing a partner and at the same time how to behave in a relationship, I have had more healthy experiences than not. So it's very easy for me to just yearn that, to desire that, to want that, because it's such a positive thing when it's done and conducted right. And I consider myself a person with a lot of responsibility and integrity to where even with my failed relationships, I can say that there is a lot of good stuff that I can take away from them, you know? So, no, I don't like being single because I think it's boring at some point. Like, as much as I know how to amuse myself, and as much as I just, I don't have any issues with my identity or just loving myself type of concept. It's just that it's great to have another person keeping you company, to share things with, and just be together with. Because let me tell you, that world out there, it's very vast. So you cannot possibly convince me that I have to agree with you, supposedly, allegedly, enjoying being completely by yourself forever. I cannot be like that forever. So, to the people who are perfectly happy, single, and by themselves, good for you. But do not try to impose that on the rest of us because the rest of us do not need to feel like you feel. Um, Whatever your reasons are for liking to be single, that's up to you. But just know that there's people out there who genuinely prefer to be in a relationship. And it's just the way we are. Like, I'm trying to explain it, but really, I don't get why I need to explain this. Why can you not just respect the fact that that's how I feel? I respect the fact that you feel okay being single. So, why can you not do that with the folks who express the need to just want to be with someone? This person is speaking from the heart. They're not speaking from being influenced by what they see in public or what they perceive from other people or their family or stuff like that. No, if this person says I really yearn a relationship, it's because it's a goal that they have. It's something that they feel. So you cannot try to be like, no, you need to learn to love yourself and be independent and just like, no. Quite the contrary. You should encourage this person, empower them. Like, you can remind them that personally, there's nothing wrong with them, that it may be circumstances just not aligning correctly to make that happen. Like for me, I have had friends who are like that. They're like, oh, I'm gonna be that person who's forever alone. And I'm like, no. Look at this as your time to reflect. What do you want? What do you need? What would you like? Have the answers to those questions, but more questions will pop up, and you need to make sure that you answer them honestly. And I'm not saying you need to find someone who perfectly satisfies all of those questions and desires of yours, but the more time that you spend alone, the more introspective that you can be, and that's what you need to do. If you spend that time just being miserable and depressed over the stuff that you don't have, that is an unhealthy behavior. That I think is wrong. But if you just take your time and look at it as, you know what, the longer that I take to be in a good relationship, in a healthy relationship, the better off I'll be. You can look around, search for candidates, to put it some way, but if you're, I mean, you have plenty of time. Now, I must say that I have a video coming up at some point. I'm not sure when, but I will express what some of the challenges are when you deliberately put off dating for a long time. Like when you just don't think about it, when you don't work on it, when you don't try it, that can have repercussions if you end up changing your mind down the line. Or if you know this is a goal, but you're pushing it off because you're focusing on other things. And, anyways, it's best reserved for that video. But if you're someone who just yearns that and you don't have it immediately, do not feel discouraged because there's probably someone out there who's thinking about you and would like to approach you, but they're nervous. So just try to somehow get out there and practice your confidence. Practice speaking to someone. Not necessarily thinking about, this is gonna be the person, this is it, but just the more that you explore yourself when you're single, that easier transitioning into a relationship, especially your first relationship, is going to be. So just know that for me, personally, my perception, I do not like being single, and it's not because I feel like I don't have value if I'm by myself. It's just that I enjoy the qualities and the stuff that a man contributes to my life to where it surpasses going through the experience of life by myself. Does that make sense? So I just think guys are awesome. The men that I have had the pleasure of meeting in my life have been so great for me that I'm like, why would I not want to have one at home, you know? So that's where I'm coming from. That's as simple as I can express it for now. So I hope that I made sense. And I know someone left me some comments. What are the odds again? I was just about to message you and ask where you have been hiding. You on my mind was rare. Oh, and hey, hi. I'm the same way. I like it serious also. Yeah. So, yeah, guys, that's really all that I have to say on this matter. If you're someone who likes to be by yourself, good for you. Enjoy it. But I guess you're trying to empower the other person to feel good, regardless if they have someone or not. But there's a better way of doing it. Put it that way. Somehow find the empowering words that are not trying to make this person turn around from what their desires are. See what I mean? So, an example of empowerment would be Oh, so just because you don't have someone now doesn't mean that they're not coming, but you make sure that you're confident about it and that you don't feel depressed about the fact that you're alone right now, and you know, things like that. Just make the person feel better about their desire. But an example of a toxic kind of approach would be, why do you insist on wanting to be with someone? Why are you not happy being by yourself? You know how awesome it is to be by yourself? You have a lot more money. You can go home to and from at any time. This is stuff that single people tell me. Um, I don't have to explain to anybody what my actions are or this and that. Like, you don't have to do that in a relationship. If you have to do that in a relationship, you are in a toxic relationship. Like, I'm in a relationship and my boyfriend and I were never spying on each other or expecting to hear about the whereabouts of each other unless there's a highlight. So I can go an entire week without telling my boyfriend about where I've been to, and he's fine with that, and vice versa, because we're not obsessive like that. So, anyways, that's all I have to say, just to put it out there. And I'm kind of on a rush tonight, guys, so I'm gonna have to um, conclude this right here. But, as always, I'll be back at some point, like tomorrow. See ya. Thanks for watching.